Bruce, you on here? There we go.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that worked.
Yeah, you're streaming.
Bruce, you on here? Oh,
Yes.
Okay. I got a mute way.
Yeah, you're streaming.
Wow, there's quite a delay there.
There's like a 3-second delay or so on YouTube, and yeah, we found this to be the best setting.
Okay.
It's not default. Default is more than that, and we could even do it a little bit better, but then we got weird results. So this is the best setting to have it just delayed a few seconds.
You don't want more than 3 seconds to should be showing market action. People are going to be like, "What the hell is this?"
Exactly. So,
all right. So you just want me to play my disclaimers that I play?
Yeah. Just jump right in, and everything seems to be working smoothly here.
All right, let's play these first. The second one is sped up. It's my voice, but it's really, really fast. You can read it. I'll be back in a minute and a half.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial suitability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites are digital venues for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit or that losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept sole responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment and holds Pulcini Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account holder is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results and all of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
Trade rumors, webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific trade recommendations. The analysis and setups I share are trades and potential trades that I'm taking for myself based on my personal analysis. The goal of this room is to teach traders how to identify specific areas to trade with and for themselves, but ultimately the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky, and if you do decide to follow my personal trades, you do so at your own risk and can potentially lose your entire account and even more. I'm not always profitable and have routine drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet you have access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to enter zone values and ATR values that help me pinpoint exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone prices into the master spreadsheet as well as prices to enter trades whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy this spreadsheet and enter in your own values and use mine to confirm zone prices until you're able to draw the zones correctly yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade, as it has entry prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which way you personally decide to trade. That makes me laugh.
Hey, Scott, I think you really covered everything. Like, it almost sounds like, like side effects could be headaches, diarrhea, and whatever.
That's fun. I was messing with the settings there. I turned it to half speed, and it literally sounded like me when I'm drunk. So it was pretty funny. So I don't think people want to hear that one, but at least I cut it in half.
Right.
So. All right, a little behind here. We were trying to get this all set up with my streaming stuff, but currently not a lot going on in equities. There has not been a setup here yet. I am watching this important inflection zone that we call them. In my room, we call them Izzy trades. So if there were to be a setup in this zone right here as far as a short setup, because we play fade trades into zones, I will take it. This market is looking like it's going to get smoked for the last few days. Basically had a bigger balance breakdown here, did the retest, and this was at the end of the day the other day. I'll show you guys this here in a second, but this was somebody came in and dropped in like 80,000. I mean, it was a net 80,000 contracts traded and about net 20,000 negative delta, meaning someone was just dropping in offers into the bid and people got smoked.
Iceberg buys EW 160 contracts.
You can see every time this market has tried to come back up here, it has failed. And common sense wise just dictates, when all these guys, let me just show you this real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. It's actually in my room. If I could find it here, let's go over to my room. I posted it the other day. Sorry, I would have had all this set up, but we were getting set up. It was my birthday yesterday too, by the way, so if you guys want to send me cash or something, that'd be cool. You can, what's the, GoFundMe or whatever they're called. Feel free. That's a joke, by the way. Let's see here. Sorry. Sorry, struggling here. What day was that? That was 2/28, right? Here we go. So, let's just make this a little larger. So you can see here, this showed perfectly the Bookmap sweeps indicator. This was all literally someone came in and just dropped like 65,000 contracts on the market, and it was net 20 something thousand. So you can see here on the footprint, you can see it as well, just in a different way. I mean, not anywhere close to. So guys, yeah, you can see stuff on footprint, but it doesn't show you anything near what you see, with the SI indicator. But anyway, you can see right here, this is the same sweep here. 20,000 sellers. I mean, this was literally just one swipe down. So whoever had all the resting,
Iceberg buys EW 152 contracts.
Whoever had all their bids resting here, and especially at the close, guys like to play games. Like there was this one trader that I used to go head to head with. I talk about quite frequently in here. Anyway, he used to put in thousands both sides of the market and just flip at the close because it's so liquid, and you got these funds and bigger entities getting out of stuff. So it's just like the perfect storm to be scalping. This is way back when. This is like 2004, 2005. But anyway, whoever was in here playing games from basically 82 down to 72 got their what handed to them, and then the market actually broke down overnight, came back, went a little higher than this area, and then just collapsed. Not collapsed, but it's now it's struggling to get through that area. So that was that move. So the point is, when traders get run over, the ones that don't puke, right, sit there and hold and wait for it to come back to the area so they can peel out of the trade. So that's the simplistic view of why this keeps. You can see every time this has come back here, held. It's guys trying to get the hell out of the 20,000 swipes that they got spoon-fed at the close the other day. So anyway, that's a very important area to be watching, and that's pretty confluent with the bottom of this balance on top of it. So, and then that's this zone. So this zone was a bunch of buying tails. This was a gap up, and then now you have this here. So this is a very important zone. On any retest, this is going to be a great shorting opportunity if we get a volume event. And if it's able to get through here to the upside, that's information as well. But that's pretty far away right now. But the bigger picture, my mouth is watering for a short setup in this zone right now. I want to see this thing. I think this thing's going to collapse. This zone was, over here you had directional conviction up. You had a gap down here. You had a buying tail, huge directional conviction up. Came here, held this time, held, two big buying tails, held, gap down right through it. Here's a retest of it. So just like anything in trading, what was support is now resistance. So I don't just trade these zones blindly. You could, just like the Ludwig levels. I just don't feel my edge. There is the edge is way greater with a real-time volume event, because that's what's going on right now. So I am locked and loaded. The minute I see a volume event, I'm getting in the trade, and I'm getting in it aggressively, meaning I'm not even waiting for a retest of the area. And we'll talk about all that here. I'll show you a retest of the area that I did with crude, currently long crude. So this was supposed to be two different trades. So we're doing different trading strategies in my room. We've really focused and centralized these trading strategies, right? So we have the slugs, stop run a major lug, liquidity trade, IZZY, BARF. We'll go over all these. So I do have the BARF on. That's just a blind ATR retest failure of every single volume event that occurs, right? So without any other inputs, taking the trade. And this is to prove that you can just trade these volume events on Bookmap. That's not it, actually. It's over here. And have an edge just in raw vacuum form, right? And so my point is, what I'm trying to get across is this is an edge in itself, by itself, right? And that's what this trade is. It just every time you see a volume event, my mouse is really struggling today. Every time you see a volume event, you wait for an ATR, move outside of it, a retest and failure, and then you take the long, or if you're going short, ATR, retest failure, take the short. So this trade is just specifically designed for that, to show the edge there. So you can imagine if there's an edge just in this, if you start to apply these areas in important areas that you look at, that I look at, that you look at, that you already know there's an edge in, kind of like the zones or the Ludwig levels or VWAP standard deviation. We'll go over all that as well. That is the edge, right? So my point is, I need to see, like for that ES, I need to see a volume event for this to happen. But anyway, I did take this trade. The trade because I was on with Bookmap a little bit ago, setting everything up. I forgot to put on, I should have put on the lick trade too. So a lick trade is also ATR retest failure. And then you get out at the liquidity, because we talk about every webinar how this liquidity, this long-term liquidity that's been in here for a long time, is a magnet. It's not. It's, you know, a novice trader would look at this and be like, oh, look at all these offers up here. I want to be short. It's the exact opposite. This market is going to get to these levels. These guys want to get filled. Because the way you know that is because it's been sitting in here. If something comes out, if OPEC comes out and says something, we're cutting production, or something bullish hits this market, these guys are going to get smoked, run over. They're not going to get smoked. They want to get filled. So that's telling you the longer it's been in here, the more they want to get filled. It's not a game where they're trying to scare the market, or they want to be sellers. This tells me, I mean, they still want to be sellers, but you don't know if they're getting out of positions or whatever, and it doesn't matter. The point is they want to get filled. So when you see this liquidity, and we'll go market by market here, you can literally base your trades. You can have a distinct trading setup just for that trade, and that's what this is. This is what this lick trade is. So I failed to put that on because I did get the barf trade on, the blind ATR retest failure trade, but I should have both strategies on right now. So anyway, I'm long crude from down here, and then you can see these. We have the spreadsheet from my trading room where you put in the zone prices. So I put in that stop run zone at the time when I put on the trade. That was the current 5-minute ATR. I'm using a 5-minute Wilders ATR, 14 period Wilders. It's just the default ATR and Thinkorswim for the 5-minute chart. And then I put in my zone prices, and this tells me where I can go long if I want to go long, short if I want to go short, where my stop order is, where it validates as an ATR outside of the zone. So meaning this setup right here, you saw that validation price was 88. So why I tell you guys every webinar, I wait to see how the market reacts to these zones. My mouse is really struggling here. I don't know if it's because of the thing we set up, Bruce, but it's like really lagging here. So when I see an ATR move out of there, that officially makes this a bullish setup for me, right? And that's from watching thousands and thousands and thousands of these, knowing how the market reacts, how these markets react to these volume events. So anyway, I'm long crude. That's a long story for where I'm long crude. And we'll go over some areas that I would get out. Bigger picture crude here. You can see we're actually heading up into an inflection zone where I will, if this starts to struggle here, I will take some off. It's already about it'll be a 30-40 tick winner here. So this zone is the first retest of this. This is driving me crazy with this mouse, sorry. This was where this market had huge gap down, right? So you had that, and you had a buying tail here. So this zone is important, more concentrated. It's more pretty much where this gap down, and that's right around 78, 72-ish. Sorry for the drawing, my mouse is struggling here. But anywhere in here, if this market starts to fail, I will get out of some, and if I get a volume setup, an opposing volume setup, a bearish setup, I'll be out of long, and I will be going short. So my Izzy trade, inflection zone trade, we nickname Izzy, is an aggressive short. So I would not wait for ATR retest failure if I see that. So I have this all in my mind, right? And this is how you guys should be trading too. You have it, your if-then scenarios, and when you see something fire off, you're ready to go instead of scrambling and find out where we are on the charts, so on and so forth. So, like I said, this trade, the two trading strategies, I have one on, I should add two on, require ATR retest failure. If I get a setup up here in that important inflection zone, I will short aggressively. So now I'm just waiting, right? Of course, I'll be tortured for the next 2 hours waiting for something to happen there. But you can see this is struggling at this zone. So I could have got out of a couple there. I probably would have behooved me to look at this. Hold on, let me get this. Exodus. So there's certain areas I will get out, start to piece out of my trades. And I just want to see if I'm sure I just missed something here, because that's how it usually works for me. So this is yellow lug. So these are the Ludwig levels. I talk about them every webinar as well. These are the second strongest thing I've ever seen in futures trading, next to Bookmap and the SI indicator. So the red and blue
Looking
are
now at the fear and
important
greed
support
index,
levels,
it's showing 49 out of
support and
100, which
resistance,
indicates a neutral.
and the yellow
Also
is
looking to the
directional
crypto
yellow.
fear
That's
and
where you
greed
get the
index,
most choppy. It's
51
kind of
out
like
of
the point
100,
of
also
point of
indicating
control
neutral.
of a market profile area, or a high volume node of a balance area. So this is what you expect around this area. But anyway, if I, many times I will get out of some at the yellow lug. I got in at 90 here. This isn't really, I'm not going to get out at the yellow lug here. You got to have some judgment, right? So if I put the thing on at 90, I'm not getting out in 18 ticks. I'm risking, way more than that on this trade. So it's not that I'm wishing and hoping that something happens, but it's like I was willing to put on this trade. I think it can get up into here. So I'm not getting out on an 18 tick winner. But that being said, we know that's that Izzy zone. A little higher here, we got the bottom of this prior market profile composite. These are just multiple days. The value areas merged together. Very, very powerful in its own right. So this is what I'm talking about. The stuff that you may use this, you may not. You may use, Bollinger Bands, MACD, whatever you're using. If you get a volume event in those areas, that is the edge, right? So, but even if I don't get a volume event here, as it moves up here, I will look. If it struggles, I'm going to get out of. I have on currently. Let's see what I have on. I think I have on 11. Yeah, I have 11. So I'll look to probably get out of, because that's an important inflection zone too. I showed you. I'll probably get out of half, and then I'll let half run, and I'll see if I can get up to the red lug and or an opposing volume setup. Right. So as this moves up here. There's confluence here too. So you have the bottom of this market profile composite. You have extreme standard deviation of VWAP, where many times these algos snap it back to reversion to the mean. As long as there's not big money coming in, this thing will snap back. So I'll be looking to get out there. There's multiple things in line there, aka I forgot the name, confluence. So I will be getting out there, and then you throw in that important zone.
We're now 10 minutes away from the bottom of the hour, so we do get the weekly EIA natural gas change.
And then you have this
forecast for minus
inflection
76
zone as well.
BCF on the prior,
So
minus
higher,
71
I will be peeling
BCF.
out of half if it can't push through there. All right, so back to equities. So there's just nothing. There has not been one volume set up in equities yet this morning. So you can see this is NASDAQ, same exact thing. Very important zone. Gap down through it. On here. This is, I'm going to lose my mind with this mouse. I don't know if it's because of the thing we set up on my computer for the streaming, but it is like completely lagging. It's driving me crazy. So anyway, move back into here. We are right now. If I get a volume event, I am taking it, and I'm taking it aggressively. But I just wait, right? I know my area, and I'm ready to take it, but if I don't get a volume event. So I could draw a zone here too, where this gap down from. Again, I draw these zones earlier in the morning, so I don't always, I don't see the gaps until the actual market opens. So this right here is an important zone too. It's a smaller area, obviously, but I would mark that as an important zone. This is where this market gapped. We closed here yesterday, right around 11,970-ish, and it opened up down here at so that's almost 120 point gap down. That gaps are directional conviction. So how I draw these zones, and I post these zones for like 17 different markets every day in my room, where you can just, you can draw these yourself too, but it's very time consuming, especially if you're watching multiple markets. But they are drawn at tops and bottoms of balance areas, right? Well, the four important areas of trading, of market structure, are tops and bottoms of balance areas, high volume nodes of balance areas. That's where the most trade occurred in a balance area. I'm gonna lose it, guys. I'm serious. This mouse is like, it's almost unbearable. Buying and selling tails. There's some buying tails. Here's the selling tails. Tails are instant rejection. And then the fourth is directional conviction. So many times you'll have a lot of confluence in the same area. So for instance, this zone's really important. This was selling tail, directional conviction, came back, selling tail, right? Selling tail, directional conviction. And then these zones just happen to be, you have a bunch of stuff. So you have the selling tail, directional conviction, and then it's the top of this
An update
balance
from
area.
Credit Suisse, who raised their
And then this one
ECB
was the
terminal
bottom
rate
of this
forecast to
balance area.
4% now
And
from
you have multiple
3.5%.
buying tails, buying tail, buying tail, buying tail, buying tail, buying tail. Then you had, back and forth here. So this is an important zone when we come back for all these tails that got busted and the bottom of this balance area. So you can see when stuff lines up, it's even more of a powerful area. So that being said, I'm waiting here for something to happen. So we will sit here and watch paint dry until that happens. I did hear
So
something.
Credit Suisse, more info, as they see 2 more 50 basis point hikes from the ECB in March
See
and
if
May,
there's any
followed by
Fed
2 25
plums
basis
stocking
point
today.
hikes in June
Usually,
and July.
As Spot Gamma likes to call them, tape bombs, where you got all these algos that sit there and monitor their words, and the minute they say something, the market, the algos just fire off depending on if they think it's bullish or bearish. So you're just a sitting duck when they're talking, hoping that they don't say something counter to your position. You could have an incredible position on based on this volume of the SI indicator and everything else. Everything is all lined up. They say one thing that's opposing, then you're screwed. So they're not talking right now, thankfully, but when they are talking, you can still trade, but you got to accept the fact that they could screw your position, which they usually do. All right, so let's see what happened in here. And I tell you guys every webinar, you should not be just staring at crappy ES all day long every day. You're doing yourself a disservice. These volume events, volume is volume, whether in the futures, whether it's ES, NQ, crude, gold, wheat, bonds, it doesn't matter. It's knowing your threshold in that market that's worthwhile to trade, right? And that's, again, if you go to my website in the Bookmap Marketplace, that's my course. I talk about the distinct setups that I use and the volume thresholds for each market that are tradable, right? But that's what I'm looking for in my trading. So the point is, you are doing yourself a disservice if you're staring at one market. Branch out. I know some people don't have the bandwidth to watch 10, 15 markets at a time, but you can certainly watch 2 or 3 where you're looking for
We're now
a
5
volume
minutes away from
setup
the bottom of the hour and the release of the weekly
if you're
EIA
using
natural gas change.
trading
Forecast of
strategies,
-76
playbooks, which you should
BCF
all be
and the prior
starting to build, or if
-71
you don't already
BCF.
have them, and you're just scanning 3 to 5 markets to start. 3 to 5. 5 is a lot for if you're just starting, but I would pick. I tell my room to pick 1 or 2 of these to start with, and then just perfect them. Right, so you're just literally sitting here like a sniper, waiting for the slug trade. Stop running major lugs over 3 to 5 markets, and you just wait. You wait, and you see it. It's go time. That's your edge. You have the trading rules. You put on the trade, and that's your edge. So that is what trading is. It's a probability game. We talk about this every webinar as well. I demand my trade room. If you come in my trade room, you have to get this tattooed to your forehead and or read it every single morning. Right? This is directly out of Trading in the Zone. Right? So it's basically just telling you this is the number one. Right? Anything can happen, and you don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money. You need to have an edge, which we have, which I'm demonstrating with the SI indicator in important areas, and then you have an edge that generally puts the odds of success in your favor, and you can think about trading in the appropriate manner. The 5 fundamental truths, so that's that bold stuff here, and then then like the casinos, you will own the game and be a consistent winner. So if you follow these rules, trade like a casino, and implement your edge with rules, if you have an edge, you will make money, right? The key is having an edge, and this is what I'm trying to show you guys. This is the edge. I've never seen anything more powerful than this information. I've always been, back to my scalping days, I've always known that volume is what drives markets. That is the edge. There's no other. I don't care what indicator you have on your chart. It does not matter if the real-time volume coming in isn't agreeing with that area, right? So if you can get an important area that you love to look at, again, like I said, whatever you're looking at, and then implement, and then when you see real-time volume in the direction of that area, then it's go time. That's your edge. You can trade bigger, so on and so forth. So we'll go over some of the thesis things that I have for these markets, And then the point is, if I see a trade set up in the direction of my thesis, I can trade bigger. Granted, you never want to be risking more than 2% of your trade account on any given trade, or 6%, 5 to 6% of your account size in a day. Meaning, if you hit 6% loss for the day of yours, so you got a $10,000 account, you're down $600. You need to turn it off. Right? Easier said than done, I know, but you need to have some kind of stopgap that you're just done trading for the day. But my point is, if you do see something, so say I'm short, or I have a short, and we'll look at this in a second, I have a short bias in wheat, and all of a sudden I get a short setup, well, I can trade bigger because I'm already thinking this market should break. I don't just trade my thesis. My theses are right probably 50% of the time, right? But when you get the volume event, which is the most important thing, in direction of your thesis, that's when you trade bigger, right? So let's take a look at this. Considering it's the only thing going on right now is this volume event, let's take a look. So overall, bigger picture, this looks bearish. Shorter term, it looks bullish. This is the short term, breaking out of a multi-day balance, right? So these are just traders loaded up. Whoever's short in here is feeling pain and puking. Bigger picture, this is just one big balance area. Multi-week, multi-month, it's probably multi-week balance area, right? Just traders placing bets back and forth. Longer term traders, shorter term traders. This is more of a longer term trader type of view, but you can see we've broken down.
1 minute remaining.
So what's stronger in your opinion? Weeks of back and forth trade where now that the longs in here are like, oh crap, I was wrong, or this little dude here. Yes, this isn't important, but this is fighting this. So yes, short term, this is bearish, bullish, breaking out of that balance, but bigger picture, it's bearish. And when markets break down out of balance, many times they'll come back and retest the bottom, which this is doing right now. So I could actually have a zone here, another zone here, I'll draw right now, that I zoomed out. Should have already seen this. So I just want to draw, kind of incorporate this whole thing just for right now. This is a pretty wide zone here, obviously.
10 seconds.
We're incorporating, you got the natural gas number coming out here too, by the way. I just want to give you an example of incorporating the bottom of this balance, so you can see this top of this balance is nicely formed with all this stuff that happened, but it was the top.
Minus 81 BCF, minus 81 BCF, better than the forecast of minus
anywhere in here,
BCF.
I have, oh crap, hold on, there we go. I have a longer term bearish view. This is breaking out. That's bullish. This is the most recent. So my point is, yeah, I think this market is bearish, but I would not trade bigger size right here in this zone just because of this, right? So I'll still take shorts and I'll still take longs. I think this is bearish, more bearish right now, but I would not put more size on because of the breakout of this area. You know what I mean? So this is what you have to look at every day, like where you're at, if then scenarios, so on and so forth. Now, that being said, if this market does this, then that, and it gets to this high volume note, then I will be taking any bearish setups aggressively and for more size, because that fits the bigger picture view, bearish view, and then that would fit the shorter term as well. When those align, it's go time, right? So I'm a day trader. I'll take any setup that happens here, and we see it right now. Here's your volume setup, and this is, I'm missing a trade right here. So let's hurry up and get these zones in, and you can see that's ATR. I guarantee that's
the
ATR
weekly
retest
EIA
failure.
natural gas
See the
reports
same
on the
pattern
feed for
all
those
day, every
interested.
day. 721.50 to 719.25. So we come over here, put the zone prices in. Again, this is part of my trade room. If you're part of my trade room, you get access to the spreadsheet. Just super helpful. Like, it's like a godsend for me, where I'm not doing everything by naked eye. That's your zone. You always want to put your ATR in. Again, I'm using the 5-minute Thinkorswim default 14 period Wilders. You can see it right here. Right. So 2.08, that just tells me that the market's rotating about 2 points every 5 minutes. Very important. Some days it's up to 6. Some days it's at 1.5, right? So put that in. So this is telling me right now, if I want to go short, I'm short at 1675. I can put on 1.38 ZW contracts. I'll round up to 2. So like I said, I'm sure I missed this trade. We're here right now. So that's perfect. Very nice of it to wait for me. So I'm going to put this trade on short. So this is definitely the barf trade, which we'll go over. Let me get this going to... All right, so oops. 1 second. All right, so I have it resting now. If it comes back, I should already be filled, but it's at 1675. So this market, so what's this? This was ATR, and all the prices are in here for you too. That's what's so great about this. You just plug in your zone and it tells you. So for that particular zone, there was 2 sets of buy ice in here, right? You had 3. So threshold for wheat is 150. So any setups I see over 150, I'm trading. 242 and another 167. Right, so that's 400 buy ice in this area. So this is an official broken ice setup. This is one of my 6 distinct setups that I trade off of in my trading course, right? Here's your ATR that proves this as a bearish setup. If it's able to push at least an ATR away from the zone, that's how I determine from watching thousands of these. And here's your retest, here's your failure. I should already be short. When it comes back, I'm going to be short, right? And then, again, this tells you everything. Right, so I put my zone price in, and then this tells me validation for a long would have been if this got to 23.50.
S&P stocks stopped by ES 718 contracts.
This is absolutely perfect.
NQ stocks stopped by NQ 200 contracts.
This is exactly what I wanted to see. Hold on, so I just want to show you this. So 1725 would have made this a bearish setup. So it got down to 1725. That makes this a bearish setup. So that's why I'm willing to go short. So that is resting to go short. You'll hear it fill when it comes back. Now, what my mouth was watering, waiting for, we have a volume event in an important inflection zone, aka the Izzy trade, potentially. So right at the top of this puppy, and these are zones, these are areas, right? Like it's not exact prices, it's 39.50-ish, right? Like you can go a little bit above. But I mean, if it's up here, then no. But I actually, what I should do, and I'm gonna do, I have to redraw this, but I'm going to bring this up to where this gap down from, right? So I'm going to make this, it's pretty wide right now. I'll have to change it a little bit, but I just want to know that this area is important. So let's activate this. I want to bring this up, and I want to incorporate that gap down, where it gapped down from, right? That's an important area. We already did that on NASDAQ, right? So this is where the market closed, and it opened down here. That is directional conviction. That's important. So anywhere in here that I get a volume event, I am taking a short aggressively. That's what we were just waiting for. We got it. So now, if this turns out to be a bearish volume event, will I go long? Yeah, I'll go long. I'm a day trader. Some of these strategies dictate that I can go long, and we'll go over that. But let's first and foremost get this zone drawn. If you have the sweeps indicator, which I highly recommend, that's part of Global Plus, it helps you draw your zones. So you can see these sweeps started before this 1,000 lot or 700 lot stop run, right? What does that mean? Well, because when someone comes in and sweeps the order book, they have first right to the orders in the book. So these stops could have been sitting down here. Actually, this is actually accurate, but a lot of times you'll see the sweeps go and then the stop run goes. Well, the stop run could have been sitting here. All these stops could have been sitting at this price, but they don't get a right to enter the market until whoever's sweeping, no swiping swiper, whoever's sweeping is done, right? So this one actually looks like it's pretty accurate. You can see here. Let's say down here. Let's see here. What was that? Oh, I filled on my wheat chart. Okay. I'm just trying to determine this. I know there's selling in here, but you will see selling during stop runs, not during sweeps that start the stop runs. I know that's confusing, but I'm going to just draw this here. This one's a little more confusing for some reason, but they're usually pretty straightforward. But I think that's an accurate representation of this zone. We'll see if the top is correct. Now I want to incorporate all the prices that occurred in this spike, right? And my threshold for sweeps for ES are 500, or for any for stop runs are 500. So I got to bring that down a tad, right? Let's bring this down here. Now we have an official zone, 39.51.75. Oh, and by the way, you want to take off your bubbles when you're drawing your zones. This is how I do it. You want to bring in this last price line, right click the chart, configure visible components, bring in last price line, and that's actually traded price. I used to draw it to the bubbles without the last price line. I would just draw it to the tops and bottoms of the bubbles, and that's not correct. You can see it's the center of the bubbles, right? So that's why I use this, and it helps me draw my zone, and then I just bring the bubbles back, right? So I'm thinking this is just a weird one. I mean, I guess I can bring it down here. But see, this isn't really threshold here. This is like 20 stops, 30 stops, and then it finally spiked here. I'm okay with that. So usually it's not this subjective, but this one just seems to be. 51.75 down to 49 is my official zone that I'm going to use. Here we go. I need to hurry up because I may miss this trade. So we go over to the ES sheet. 39.51. 39.49. Is that right? I have no short-term memory these days. No. 48.75, right? No, 49. Sorry, 51.75. Struggling. 39.49. Then we put in our ATR again, the 5-minute. While there's ATR, you see it there in the middle left,
This comments from
5.61.
Fed Collins, who says how many more hikes to do depends
what?
on
I thought there were
incoming
no
data. Says we
Here.
need some additional Fed hikes to curb inflation.
So they just have a
So it's,
surprise Fed guy.
Fed's,
Shocking.
Collins
Get ready for tape
comments
bombs.
in a Vermont audio interview.
So we have the Squawk, the new Squawk channel, and it gives all the speakers and stuff. There's nothing on that anyone's speaking, and now he's just quoting a Fed guy. So you got to deal with that. All right. So this is the short. I know I want to short aggressively, meaning I'm not waiting for ATR retest. As soon as this hits 42.50, I'm in, and I can trade 6.35. I'm going to round up to 7. And I'm going to trade even bigger because I have a bearish. So I'm going to trade 2 times my size. So I'm going to put on 14 micros. Here we are right here. Again, hold on, ES, don't move. So this is the Izzy trade. Hold on. This is my price. So I got to see. Again, this is really hard when I've got to be jumping around here. 39 is the Izzy. I may have to chase this market. Of course. All right, I chased it a little bit. I was supposed to be in at 46.75. All right, so that's that. I hate chasing the market, but I don't want to miss this trade because I've been waiting for this volume event in this zone, and that's exactly what happened, right? So I had it all mapped out in my head, ready to go. I knew this was a zone, a retrace into this zone, and then I got my volume event, right? It just sucks because this mouse, I'm about to lose it with this mouse. 1, 2, I'm on one screen, so I'm trying to do everything on here, and then I just missed my price. So again, my official price should have been... oh wait, no, did I just screw that up? Sorry guys, I'm supposed to be short at 42.50. What was I just looking at here? All right, so I'm not even supposed to be short yet. So let me get out of that. Sorry about that. Why was I thinking 45.75? Interesting. All right, so anyway, my official short price is 42.50. What's that? Well, that is a full ATR plus 15% out of the zone. So I'm forcing this market. First of all, let me get this order in before I miss this entry as well. I don't know what I was just looking at there. Sorry, guys. So I just scratched that trade. I made like a tick on it. I wasn't trying to make money on that because that's not my trade. So 42.75 would be an official ATR plus 15%. So I'm forcing these markets because these markets have such a ridiculous tendency. All these markets, it gets to an ATR below the volume event, and these algos snap it back to the volume event. We actually have a trade, the reversion trade, that takes advantage of that move. This trade I'm putting on is a position trade where I'm looking for a bigger move, not just a snap back to the area. It's more like a scalp trade. That reversion
Soy
trade.
oil ice iceberg sells
So-
EL 166
I'm
contracts.
forcing these markets to get a full ATR plus 15% out of the zone, and then I know there's something bigger going on from my experience of trading these, and I'm trading it aggressive. I'm not waiting for ATR retest failure in this specific instance, right? So that's that. Let's jump over to NASDAQ real quick and see if we can short this too. And then my rule of thumb for my room is if I'm short NASDAQ, Russell, and ES all at the same time, then we get to play music. So I'll play Highway to Hell Well, that all started with back in my trading firm. One of my good buddies used to he was an ES trader as well. It'd be nice if I could find this market first of all. There we go. And every time he would get long the ES, he would trade. All right, so now I'm officially filled. I'm missing this trade here too. He would be long the ES and he would blast the Jeffersons theme song. If you guys are old enough to remember the Jeffersons, moving on up, and he would blast it throughout the trading firm. So that's where the music came in with the trades. So it's comical. You got to make yourself laugh in this business, or you will cry. So, all right. So that's where that started. And I think I'm missing this. Hopefully I get lucky because this was an aggressive trade too. This zone price was 11.932 quarter. Put this in. Put the bottom in a second. ATR is 22.56. Just means it's rotating 22 points every 5 minutes. And then, so we're still in the zone, so that's good. 11.1925. I think we are anyway. 11.1925. I'm sorry, 11.925. All right. So I can go short aggressively at 11.899. This is the same setup. Meaning this is an IZZY. This was a move back into the zone that I already had pre-drawn from a long time ago. We gapped down through it. We're back in it. Volume event. I short aggressively, aka the IZZY trade. I could put on other trades too, but I need to see ATR retest failure. We'll go over all that here in a second. Let's see where we're at. And I'm sure I missed this trade. Of course I did. Oh, it's right here. Good. All right, so now I can short both of these. What could go wrong here, especially with, I guess, the Fed guy's talking. All right, so my short is 11.899. I can put on 4.22. I'm going to round up to 5. So that is trade 39 as well. For the Apex, we'll go over Apex here too. Highly recommended if you guys are testing stuff out. Hold on, let me see, 8.99. All right, so that is working now as well. So I have 5 working to sell 5 at 11.899. What does the other guy say? Not a trading recommendation. You can. It's what I'm doing. You can fade me all you want. And what else do you see here? See this down here? Who wants to bet this gets filled? This is pretty close, but I still will put on this trade. So now what other trades are in play here? My IZZY trade is, and that is an I don't have the things on here. I'll fix this for next week. But this is an aggressive trade. Hold on. This is an aggressive trade. This is an aggressive trade. Meaning, if I see him, the minute the market moves an ATR out of there, ATR plus 15%, I'm in. I don't wait for that. This trade, I wait for that. This trade, I wait for that. So I potentially can have multiple trades on here depending on if this retests the zones and fails. And guys, this is literally this trade in my room. Right, I'll even show you what, I'm not doing it on here. I can't keep up with it, but that's this, right? So if I wanted to take the long, I'm literally playing, this is the 1 ATR. So when it gets 1 ATR away from this zone, I can get long. And all the trade is literally playing for the retest, which happens. It's insanity how often it happens, as you're seeing right now, right? Gets an ATR away, comes back to the zone. So we have a 1 ATR, a 2 ATR, and a 3 ATR, right? So the one, you would have been filled at 475. I don't think you would have been filled at that one, 84.50 to knock it down there, but you would have the one on right now. So anyway, so the other 2 trades will be in, the other 2 playbooks will be in play if we go ATR retest failure. I could put on the BARF trade. That's just the blind ATR retest failure, no matter where we're at. And then I could put the liquidity trade on too, playing for that. It's pretty close, but I'll still put it on because I think these markets are going to get smushed. There you go for that. Let's see here. All right, so I'm filled NASDAQ and ES, and I got to make sure I put my stops in. So I'm short both of those. So my stop now, I got short at 8.99. Here's my stop. Again, guys, it doesn't matter what you're risking. You change your size. You don't change what you're risking. How many of you are in here? I can't tell you how many traders. I like to risk 10
Since the
points when I
German
put on a NASDAQ
finance
trade to make
chief
20.
faces a 12 billion euro
Your
shortfall in
your
their
static trading
2024
is not a
budget,
recipe for
with Germany
success. You're
targeting a
going to lose
net
money
new
in the
borrowing
long
of
run,
15
right? You
billion
need to
euros
adapt
next
to the
year.
current volatility. The market does not give a flying you-know-what that you only want to risk 10 points. The market cares about that and the volume events. So please, if you learn anything from these webinars, stop using static stops. Stop trailing your stop to break even when the thing moves it for you, right? I'll move my stop, right? If a new volume event comes in. And other than that, I'm not moving my stop. Again, the market does not care. I want to break even. And all you're doing is setting yourself up for the whipsaw, right? That you don't think these algos know what most traders do. They get short and then the market starts to move. Why do you think it does that? Because when the big money's not playing, these algos take control and they know traders trail their stops and they come up and stop them out right into their sell orders, and then they can get short and then the market continues down, right? So stop trailing your stops and stop using static, risk reward type trades, because you're not going to make money. All right, so what was I just got fooled in something else too. I just heard the thing go off. All right, so let's set our stops first and foremost. Very important. You never want to trade without stops. That's what goes without saying. So in here, I'm out at 58.25. So this will change now as the market moves around. Once I get filled, I'm not changing my stop price. This is good. I'm in. That's it. Whether it expands or contracts, I'm in. So my stop for that is 58.25. And then, by the way, it looks like it's going to do the usual retest here. So guys, like when you expect this, you're not flipping out on rotations, right? Like I fully expect this market, because we actually have a trade that takes advantage of that. Like I said, I fully expect this to come up here, torture me a little bit, then potentially go, right? So I'm not flipping out if it starts to run against me here, because I'm expecting it to at least retest this zone one time, because it does probably, again, these are my numbers and from just watching these, 70+% of the time. And that's why we're taking advantage of that trade. That reversion trade was born just with me. I know I tell you guys the same things every week, but there's new traders on here. I wanted to do this exercise, right? So I came up with, I'm like, because you always hear me say for the last 4 years on these webinars, how the market retests the zone, the retest failure at an uncanny regularity. So I'm like, why am I not taking advantage of that? So we came up with this test. It just started as a test with an edge. I know that's an edge, and I did exactly what you see here, and that's how the reversion trade was born. It was just a test with the trading in the zone test. So get the book, read it, live it. All right, let me put I got to put my ES stop in and my wheat stop in. Stop here is 58.25. I got to put that in. That's in, and then wheat, I was filled on that too. That stop price is 24. So I'm short 3 different markets here. That was this trade. Again, this is just the usual torture treatment. So my stop is going to go, 77.24. It's an ATR plus 15%. So for me to be wrong on this trade, this market has to be able to get through this prior volume event where traders were loaded up. Whoever was long in here is feeling some pain, whoever this house was. This was paper in this instance, right? The big money. Well, they're wrong. As it comes back, they may be like, this is what you play for. And this is all based on my personal experience as a scalper. When I would be loaded up long and it would do something like that, I'd be praying to God it would come back just so I can get the hell out of the trade. That's what ATR retest failure is. Very simplistic, but I'm telling you that's what's going on in these markets. So anyway, for me to be wrong on this trade, it's got to push through this, and it's got to get a full ATR, beat the algos outside of the ATR. So that's why it's an edge. Right? So let me put that in. Here's your normal, usual retest of the zone and NASDAQ we call it. Pardon my language, ladies. CW24. Oh, I know what that fill was. So remember I was saying I missed the lick So this crude trade, remember I said I was long the BARF. That's just the blind ATR retest failure. And because I was on with the Bookmap webinar, or the Bookmap guys to set up this webinar, I missed the liquidity trade. So I just put my order resting there, and I just got filled on that too. So now I'm long both the BARF and the lick. Lick is just the liquidity trade, a play to the liquidity. So that's what that was. So I got to put my stopping for that. So I'm long crude, short ES, short NASDAQ, short wheat. Not trading recommendations. I'm not going to say it 85 times like the other dude does, but again, if you want to fade me, bring it. Let's see here. So my stop here is, so this did change probably. No, it's the exact same. So I got long at long here, and I stop at 43. This is the crude lick trade. You guys are named funny names to be, part to be funny, but part to be memorable, right? You're not going to forget these names. I'm not anyway. All right, so the lick trade is number Apex 43, and we'll talk about Apex here in a little bit. 43, and then 43. All right. Everything's locked and loaded. I got my stops in for everything. Here's your retest of the zone, per usual. I'm not liking there's buy swipes coming in here. Let me guess, the guy's talking. Feds Collins, additional, they literally did not have this, so this is what I'm talking about that I look for. It's usually pretty reliable. All right, so this is what you can see in my room too. Go over here. So literally no mention. Do you see 840? Do you see any mention of a Fed dude here talking? I certainly don't. So financial just gets an F today. I see nothing with a Fed guy, but then I see Fed talk right here. This is why the market's spiking back and forth, because this guy's chirping as usual, aka tape bombs. So sucks for me. This thing rips. I didn't know he was talking. I still would have put on the trade, but at least I have, I can blame something besides myself, right? So, but trade's on. My stop's in. If I stop out, on to the next trade. On to the next trade. On to the next trade. What I could put in now is the BARF and the lick trade. Why? Because this did my parameters for that trade, ATR retest. Now if it comes back, now I'll put on both of those trades. I'm already short the Izzy trade, the inflection zone trade that we went over. Now I'll put those in too, so hold on. So that is number 43 again, and 40. And the price for that, I can't change the entry price on this until I get filled, because I'm not filled yet. So meaning I can change the ATR until I get filled. That's up to 22.92. I don't know if that's going to change much. 98.75 now. So let me put those in. $98.75. 39 and 40. Oh, actually it's 40. I say 98.75. All right, so those are resting, but when will that trade be disqualified? Well, if this market is able to push an ATR above here, then this short setup that's why I wait for this. If this just goes like this, then that short's disqualified, and I'll be stopped out of my other short, right? So these are my rules, and it's not just me randomly picking ways to trade these. I've watched about 4.2 million of these in the last 4 years, so I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not really. All right, let's see if you guys have any questions. I guess YouTube. All right, thank you for the happy birthdays. I'm just seeing all this stuff now. What's the beeping? The beeping is the, I think it was the Discord guys coming in the Discord room. So put your questions in YouTube, guys. I can't go back and forth between this and Discord, so please put them in the YouTube. It's easier. What ATR are you using? ETH or RTH? It's RTH. I mean, ETH, sorry. It's just, you can see here, it adapts, right? It adapts to the volatility. So I just use the 24-hour VWAP. I mean ATR and VWAP on that chart. What kind of volume are you looking for? I'm answering Deborah's question. I'm looking for volume setups on the SI indicator that fit my threshold for that market. So I have specific thresholds for each market that are important, right? So, for instance, 150 is my threshold in NASDAQ, meaning anytime I see a 150 spike on this subchart, that's a tradable event. If I see 150 in ENS, I completely ignore it because it means nothing because the size is so much bigger in this market, right? So you've got to know your thresholds. The problem, when people first get this SI indicator, they're like a kid in a candy store. Every spike on this chart, they want to trade, right? So I am just looking for threshold volume events. In the ES, it's 500 or more stops, and you can see that got there. Actually, wait, it doesn't look like that here. Oh, these are new. This just came in. I guarantee this is the Fed. These are algos and stops because the Fed clown is chirping as usual. But this was the event that I drew right here, right? So that's how we figure out the zone. We draw the event, and then I have specific rules to trading the volume event. So we'll just hopefully not get stopped out by a tape bomb with Mr. Mouth here chirping, but you never know. Speaking of which, let's get some way too quiet in here. The other thing I use, very important in my trading, I just have to turn it off sometimes because it drives me crazy and it's probably going to do it here. I call it waterboarding. There's nothing worse than watching the trade go against you and listening to the trade go against you. The only thing that I'm lacking is like a smell factor. Maybe I'll come out with a smell a smell thing where it emits like a skunk when the thing is going against you, but a skunk smell. So these are really important. Obviously, I look at all the FANG stocks. These are the the most highly, why can't I think of the name? Weighted stocks in the indices in NASDAQ and ES. These are what drive the indices that drive the futures. So it's very important to pay attention to these. You're going to see, especially if it starts ripping, these things will be firing off. And then I have the actual futures down here too. So this is tick strike. Again, all the stuff that I use is all on my website, right? Just go to my website, click on those banners from Bookmap to tick strike to, there you go. Click on these banners to Apex. We'll go over that. Spot Gamma. You can get the hero for an extra week with this code. Here's the tick strike. Trader Sync. Highly recommend you use that as well to keep track of your trades. But I forgot where I was going with that. But anyway, not seeing anything. You usually see these things going crazy. At least because I have these all set on one. Something's going on here. Oh, you know what? I just lost internet. Can you guys hear me? There you go. Can you guys hear me or no? Could someone type in the YouTube room? Because I just lost my internet. It just came back up, which is really convenient, by the way. You can hear me? Thank you. I literally that's why I was like, why are these tick strikes not firing off? Because I haven't set it at 1. You should see them nonstop. And it's because I lost my internet. So sorry about that. All right, so I'm back in more torture in ES and NQ. So anyway, we're watching these. So these won't fire off until they get to 11. So 11 out of 15, that means, so like you see, here we go. This is why I call them waterboarding. So what you're probably going to see here as I stop out of these trades, because Clown Nose is talking, these will all be going crazy. So I get to watch my stop out and listen to it. Quite fun. But I'm not out yet. And I'm long crude. So that'll take some of the sting off if I do get stopped out. But again, crude was the BARF blind ATR retest failure, and then I got lucky. It came back. I got filled on the lick, and this is where the lick trade I get out as soon as it gets up to this liquidity. I'm out. My other trades I get out at important areas, and we'll go through this as the markets move in my favor, hopefully. And guys, this is trading, man. Like there is no. If these lose, I'm perfectly fine with it. I have my system. I have what I should be risking, not to be blowing out my accounts, right? This actually, because I'm trading Apex, I have this at 10%. Please do not be trading 10% of your trading account or more. And some of you guys are doing it. I know. Right now, you're probably doing it. You are going. Apex is one thing because these are what I'm doing for my room is we're trading each of these strategies.
NQ stopped by NQ. 183 contracts.
So we got a new setup in here. I'll come back to that. But I'm trading each of those on a distinct separate trading account so we get the exact stats for each strategy, right? It's much more concentrated. And I'm not like all over the place, like, oh, here's this, here's that, here's this. It's like, here's Izzy, here's Lick, here's Slug, and I just take the trades, right? And that's it. So there's another stop run. Hopefully I'll survive it. Whoops, that's not good. I gotta turn this off and I'll bring it back up. You lose internet for some reason, they separate. So I'll bring that back up. So I could potentially add to these barf and liquidity trades to it. Or did I get filled on those? Hold on. I lost my internet, so I lost everything. I got to bring back everything. Got to bring back my rhythmic and my apex and all this crap. Hold on a second. Very upsetting. Just trying to see if I filled on those other trades, and yeah, so I'm filled in everything in there. I'm filled on the barf, the lick, and the Izzy and NASDAQ, and here's the newest swipe. No swiping swiper. If you have kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Hold on here. I wish my kids were that age. If you have kids like younger than 10, enjoy it, because it goes by real fast. And then it's, especially if you have girls, it's not so fun anymore when they turn like 15, 16 years old. And of course I love it to death. I'm just saying it's not all sunshine and rainbows, all cuddly dad-ass stuff. I wish it was. All right, so here's your newest zone here. I can actually add to these other trades based on this new zone. I can put on more. So 11.938 quarter. 11, I think that's the correct. Let's just make sure this is right. It's not right. So I got to bring this down so you see where the spike started. And then you can see the sweeps. So the sweeps looks like it triggered. This is a good example. I was trying to show you guys earlier. It just didn't have that look in ES. So someone started sweeping a little bit here, but a sell order popped in. So these were not the sweeps. You can tell by that red bubble. These were not the sweeps that started the stop run. And it definitely wasn't that price because it already touched that price. When it touched that price, then the stop runs fired off right after that, right? So whoever swept from this price on triggered these stops, right? So all sweeps are stops, not all stop. Wait, all stops are sweeps, not all sweeps are stops, right? So you will see some sweeps sometimes that aren't stop runs. But anyway, I know this may be confusing if you're just learning this stuff, but many times the sweeps are what trigger the stops. Like I was telling you earlier, these stop runs could have been at that price, but they don't trigger until whoever this is, it gets done sweeping the order book, and then they fire it off, and they fire it off pretty much starting here, right? But I want to incorporate where the sweeps that trigger them are, because they may have been down here. You see what I'm saying? So again, you may be thoroughly confused. I go over it every day in my trade room. It's not rocket science once you understand what you're looking at. So the bottom of that zone is officially 11.930.75. And the top is, what did I say? Why is that a different color? I'm colorblind too, so bear with me here. And the beeping is guys coming in and out of the Discord room, whoever asked that. And for some reason, I mute it every single week, and every week it keeps coming back up. So, got to deal with it. Sorry. 11.938.25. Bottom of the zone is, what did I say? 30 quarter, 30.75. It's really hard to do on one screen, guys. That's why it's annoying. Sorry. 11.930. All right, that's that. What's the current ATR? 21.66. All right, so these are all potentially brand new trade setups. What did I miss here? This was not threshold for ES, so I don't need to draw that zone. So I'm just holding my breath not to get stopped out there. They're trying to, you know, what's positive about this, not positive for my bearish trades, are this buying is not real buying. It's just guys puking, right? That's a good thing. If I start seeing buy ice come in, then I'm going to be a little more worried. But you can see these are holding. So, and I know this is a really important zone. So, you know what? If this can push through here to the upside, you got to view it like a competition, right? It's you versus them, because it is. It's you versus the big money, right? And other traders. It's a zero-sum game, they call it. If they can push this puppy through this zone and stop me out, congratulations, and I'll just look for my next trade. Right? That's what trading is. It's probabilities. You just keep taking.
Soy
if you have
oil
an
ice
edge,
iceberg
you know
sells
over the
EO.
long run, you will make money
165 contracts.
trading. That's what an edge is, right? Every week, every day, I liken it. This comes from trading in the zone 2 to a casino. A casino does not make money every day, right? Their P&L looks just like a trader's P&L. It looks like something like this, right? A trader with an edge P&L, a profitable trader, right? That's what their P&L looks like. At the end of the year, they're up here. At the end of the year, if you have an edge, you're up here. In the meantime, you're going to have drawdowns on a trade basis and on a daily basis, sometimes on a monthly basis, right? But if you have an edge, you will make money. That's how you have to view it. And you just have to view it, just like I said, if I get stopped out of these trades, yeah, it sucks. I hate losing more than anybody. I absolutely can't stand it. But I understand these are probabilities. Trading is probabilities. There is nothing certain. Anyone who tells you that they have 100%, 90%, even 80%, I call bullshit on 70 and 80% systems too. Yeah, maybe if you're scalping for 2 ticks here and there, but you're not going to sustain yourself anyway. Pardon my language for the ladies anyway. And anyone who's offended by that, anyone that I triggered with that statement. If you are scalping and you're 80% scalping, you're still going to churn your account down anyway with commissions. So it's like, it's just not, it's not feasible. So anyone who tells you otherwise, I want to see it traded live for a longer period, like a week, a month, then I'll believe you. Other than that, I think you're full of it. And that's coming from a guy that made all his money back in the day from scalping, right? So I tell you all the time, if I'm trading this way and I'm not scalping with my mouse, it's probably for a reason. I obviously gravitated towards scalping for a reason. Do you think I like sitting here through this algo whipsaw on all my trades? Do you think I like that? Do you think that's fun for me? I absolutely hate it. My mind is not built for this type of trading. I have conditioned myself over time. As I told myself, I figured out after having to leave the business in 2013, having to go work for the man, having to kiss doctors' asses in their office in sales, I learned if I want to trade in this environment, I had to adapt, right? Bookmap came around, and it was like a godsend. Literally, Dr. Brett Steenbarger, who wrote the book Enhancing Trading Performance, sat behind me for a year. He called me 2017 and said, "You got to check out this Bookmap program software. It reminds me exactly how you used to view the markets." Because he sat behind me for a year to see how I traded, how I made the millions of dollars that I made, why I was doing that, right? So the point is, my brain is geared toward that click, 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 click. I had to adapt if I wanted to stay in this business, right? And the minute I saw this, I said, I'm back. It was actually before this. It was just this and the liquidity and stuff. And you can watch my earlier webinars. I came back trading stocks. I was just going to trade stocks. Oh, by the way, was this an ATR retest so I can add to this puppy? I might be able to play some music if I add to it. Highway to Hell or Free Fallin'. The other day we played a couple songs waiting for it to die, and I jinxed it by playing It's the End of the World as We Know It. And
Beanstalk stopped by ZS 223 contracts.
From topic to topic here. First of all, I want to see if this traded below this zone in ATR, because you can see there. Hey, you guys ever see that? You ever see that pattern? Oh, it happens 70+% of the time, like I said. So let's see here. That official ATR below to qualify that as a short for the new volume event was 09. So did it get down to 09 on that move? First move down? Did not. Now it is. Pretty close. So meaning I can't trade this new, because I want to add to these trades. I'm still bearish this market, right? All this quote unquote buying, I'm doing air quotes, was just guys puking out of their positions while this Fed clown is chirping, right? So now if this touches 09, and if it comes back again to this yellow zone and then fails, now I'm going to add to my trades, right? My barf trade and my lick trade. It may just go straight now, which is fine by me because I already have trades on, but I'll add. This is a new event. I will trade to that event too. Did that get down to 09? Close. Not yet. That's not an official ATR out of that zone. That's what that's telling me. That's where it says right here, 1 ATR validation price for the short. So if it gets to 09, that volume setup is an official bearish volume setup. So guys, do you see why you don't trail your stops to break even? Even if you shorted this, say you're like, you know what, screw the Scott's method. I'm going to get short as soon as it breaks out of this zone, like right below the prior zone, whatever. Algoed. They know nothing's going on. They see this stuff just like we do. That's when they turn it on and take your money. Make these markets get outside the volume event to prove you wrong. Stop trailing your stops to give money to the algos, unless you like giving money away. And like I said, yesterday was my birthday. Feel free to PayPal me your cash if you want to just give it away. I'm more than happy to take it. It's going to a good cause. Me. Other than that, if you are trailing your stops for no reason, just because you want to break even, you're doing the exact same thing as PayPaling me money or opening up the window and throwing your wallet out the window. It's the same exact thing. No difference. Let's see if we have any questions in here. Thaddeus, you don't count. He said Dora the Explorer. He's in the trade room. He already caught that. He's obviously got little kids, or did. When using Bookmap, can you take 2 to 3 minutes? That would be grateful. I'm curious how to buy, sell into the shadows of color. Into the shadows of color. No idea what that means. Frank, you got to expand on that a little bit. Discord's still loading the screen. No image. Hold on. Thank you for that. Let me see. You are right, I think. Let's see. Oh, that's not even the right room. Hold on. Let's go back to Bookmap. Bruce, are you on here? I'm sure he's not on here. Thank you for telling me that, Alex. Let's see here. You should see it now. That's why you guys are better off going not better off, but have the YouTube open as well. So you should see it now. So what's this? This is an official. That's the most recent volume event, the yellow. Here's your ATR. If it comes back again, retest failure, then I will add to the BARF and the lick trade. The lick trade is playing for this down here. Right? Really surprising if we get here. Who wants a better round of golf, by the way, that we get down here? Like, before we get up to 940, I'll bet you we get down to this liquidity. Round of golf, Scottsdale. Come right now because it's really, really nice. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's 40 degrees. It's unbelievable. I saw a guy yesterday. He's lived here for 40 years. He says it's the worst winter he's ever seen in Arizona. He works at a golf course too, and he said they've had 54 frost delays this year. The most before this year was 24. So what you see at the old Waste Management Open on TV is not been like that. It was like that for that weekend, and then otherwise it's been raining and freezing, which sucks for my golf game, obviously. All right, so I survived those.
4-week bills total
The
1.3
tape
billion
bombs. Let's see if
dollars.
this guy's still talking. Yeah, let's see if the guy said something. The squat guy. All right, so hopefully there's no more surprise chirping, and maybe we can get to business here and watch this thing go to zero. Been waiting for that since COVID. It still hasn't happened, but like I tell my room, I cheer for this thing to go to zero, but if it goes to zero, it probably means we're in a nuclear war, so that probably won't be good. But as I go out, at least I'll see it go to zero, so that'll be cool. Won't be able to use my profits, but, you know. Again, you got to make yourself laugh, guys. I'm not being serious, kind of. All right, let's see what your other questions are. Alexander, could you see the screen now in Discord? Alexander B. Oh, by the way, here we go again. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. These are just algos taking everyone's cash. Here's another move. Now, if we touch this zone and retest and fail, then I'm adding to those shorts. This is quality trade, by the way. It's really fun. So wheat keeps bouncing off that zone and still short this puppy. Got about a full cent in it. So yeah, got that going for me. I'm up like $100. Here we go. More torture. So I'm going to take away this zone so it doesn't confuse people because we have a newer event and I'm already short off of that zone. So that's the zone I'm playing for. Hey, surprise, surprise. I don't know if I've talked about this today. The 1 ATR retest that we have an exact strategy for. Yeah, it's ridiculous. You will sit here in awe of how often it happens in all of these markets all day, every day. So Bruce posted something for you, Frank. There are no color zones. That's just where there's no liquidity. So you'll see that, meaning there's no major resting orders, right? So you'll see that like when a number comes out, you'll see, I call it the black hole. Everything just disappears because I don't want to get run over. So yeah, you can learn more about that, but that just means there's no significant orders in the order book. All you're looking at, this heat map is just showing you this in a different form, which it's much easier to, on most people's brains to just look at the colors versus try to figure out, oh, is that a lot? Wait, here's 100. Is that a lot versus the rest of the order book? Just look at this. If you see bright orange, it's a lot relative to the other orders, right? All right, so this is what they call whipsaw range trading. You can see here, that was that major event, by the way, that happened in ES the other day. You can see how the market, I mean, look how the market reacted to that zone I showed you guys earlier in the yesterday's trade. Look at that. No, die. I wonder how those guys like getting spoon-fed 20,000+ cells. That was fun to watch. Usually at the end of the day, you can't put a lot on it because there's a lot of like hedging and just huge orders coming in. You rarely see that kind of swipe that I showed you. Let me see if I can find it again, just because it's so fun to look at. Let's look and find it one more time in my trading room. Because I love when the especially at that time of the day, guys are trying to play their games and they literally just got handed to them. I love it. Love to see it, especially on the buy side. Like I said, I want the thing to go to 0. Let's see. Sorry, I know this is annoying, but it's worth it to see this again. Here's Madam Shizzle, says we're going to 0 every day. That's why she's my favorite. Love that. This is a long time ago. That's what I was going to play. Highway to Hell. May still play it. If I add to these trades, I'm going to play that song. Add to those shorts. Where's it at? Where are we at? Actually, I had it saved too. I mean, I had it expanded. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Struggling. At least you can see what my trade room's like. A lot of capable traders in there too that you can learn from. Oh my gosh, where is this? No idea why the market. There we go. Sorry. So I'll save it this time. So if I need to, let's open it there.
So 10 minutes away now, we get the 4-week bill auction. So the US selling $75 billion in 4-week bills. We're private to cover
66,000
high yield of 4.515%.
net 20,000. I just love to see it. See what I named it up here? ES 227 Whopper. Negative 20. I mean, this was literally one swipe. So whoever was sitting there playing their games, yeah, they're probably still feeling the pain. Did this ever get up to this zone? Of course, no. I wanted to add. We could have played Highway to Hell, but no. Are you guys at least learning why you don't trail your stops in the middle of nowhere? This is exactly why. How many times would you have been stopped? All right, I'm short. I'm gonna trail my stop. Yeah, I got it. Oh no, I don't. Stopped out. Okay, this time I'm short. Got it. I got it. I'm gonna trail my stop. Oh no, you're stopped out. Like, stop doing that. Again, or just throw your wallet out the window. I mean, even this thing is like choppy. Like it's like you get one going minus 12 meta, another one's going plus 12. It's a chop fest. All right. So no other questions as we watch this flushing this liquidity eventually. They're playing games. You all know what's going to happen because it happens almost every time. So like I said, any other questions, please put them in the YouTube room. I can answer them. You can't ask me why do these markets suck, because I don't know. Speaking of which, there was some being. This is why when markets suck, you want to be watching other markets. So there were some beans, and you want to have this up too, by the way. So I hear things all the time, right? Because I'm watching 17 markets. I hear it, but I'm not listening to it, right? So bean stops. So how you bring that up, you go to, because you can hear it, obviously. I have voice and alerts. So first of all, when you're on your sub chart, you go over here and just click text. That was what I just showed you, and voice. So every time it'll read it, and it'll print it. So if I miss something, I just go back and I look at that. But over there, you go File, Alerts, and that brings up this box. Then you can go back. So I missed this. Hopefully there's still a trade here. That was from 12 minutes ago. So let's see. We go to ZS. This the wheat trade shorts working so far. Let's see what happened in here. Guys, it does not matter the market. First and foremost, what do you see? Which way do you think this market's going? Now this liquidity, I don't pay attention to. These are algos, right? At the market, screwing around. This tells me that the bigger money wants their fills, and guess what? Guess what the bigger money gets? They get their fills eventually. Why? Because they can make the market go here. I tell you guys every webinar, this is the game I played all day, every day when I made my money scalping. I would put orders in the order book. I would wait for my opening just quickly because there's always newer traders. So, you know, it wasn't this far away, but it was the ES. I could trade up to 3,000, right? So I put 1,000 lot bid down here. Pretend that's me in this liquidity. Then I'd wait, right? And the market would never be this far away for me to be putting orders in. It would be like trading here. Then I would start to like just kind of sit here, and then I would be like, okay, let's see what's going on. Nothing's happening. I didn't have that. If I had this, I would have made. I don't even want to think about what I would have made having this information. But anyway, I would test the waters. I'd sell like 100. The market would move down like 3/4 of a point. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'd sell another 100 and move down again. No one would be fighting me. Then I would just step on the gas. I would sell like 300, 300, 300, 300, and then these, you know, the traders that are watching the order book, they would jump on my coattails. They're like, oh, big money's selling. I got to sell. They'd sell it right into my bid. I'm out of my 1,000 lot. On to the next game. That is all that's going on here all day, every day, guys. Like I said, these markets are 100% manipulated by the big money. It is what it is. They're the big money. I'm not saying it's illegal. They can manipulate it because they could push the market around.
Crude stopped by CL. 316 contracts.
It's a good thing for my two longs. We'll go over this. How I can trail my stop too. I'll go over this in a second. I'm sure crude will wait for me. The point is, if you can see what they're doing, that's the whole point. If you can't beat them, join them. So if you can, that's what we're seeing on the sub chart, right? It's the best edge in the history of the world of futures trading. So I'll come back to this because you can see this is like watching paint dry versus crude that moves 50 ticks a second sometimes. So now, first of all, shocker, look what we're going into. Hey, remember the liquidity trade I put on? Yeah, that's exactly where it's going because, hey, that's the game. If you know the game, you can make money. Here's your stop run. So now you're going to see how I trail my stops. Not because I want to be able to buy the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip for Christmas for my kids. I don't want to lose that, or I want to pay my rent. What did I just get filled on? Oh, I added. No, how did I didn't want to add to that.
So 5 minutes away now, so we get the 4-week bill auction. So the US selling $75 billion of 4-week bills.
Added.
We're private
So I
to
got
cover
double size on one of the NASDAQ trades. I'll go back and look at that. But anyway, this is the newest volume right here, right? 32 up to 43. Quickly put that in. And you can watch this die too while they hammer these stocks. It's not so bad when it's going for you, by the way. When it's going against you, it's not so fun. All right, so let's go over here. $78.43 to $78.32. So now watch what I do here. Make sure you put in the current ATR, which is the exact same, which is pretty surprising. So now, if I were to go long off of this setup, which I still may,
Democratic US
but right now it's still in the zone. So I don't know what I'm going to do going forward, but I do know I treat this as my trailing stop. So now if I were to go long, I'd be long that price. I step out of this price, but I'm already long. So now I can trail my stop. So my stop was originally an ATR plus 15%. Get this out of the way. It was down here, right? Now with the new event, now I can bring my stop all the way up to here. Am I doing that because I want to break even? Because I don't want to lose my rent? My car payment? No, I'm doing it because of something the market told me, not because of something I want. That's the difference. And this is where most traders lose. They don't make it because they want to trail their damn stops. And that's the other thing too. I don't have it here because I'm not trading the actual live, where you can see the P&L anymore, for reasons for Bookmap, and even for my protection. Like, there's no guys, I'm telling you exactly what I'm doing, so you don't need to see it, and you can fade me if you want to. But the point is, turn off your damn P&L. So if you have your P&L on, and you're watching it's just human nature. That's why trading's so hard. You're watching car payments disappear every rotation. Of course you're going to want to get out of the damn trade. Like, just use common sense, right? That's why most people can't make it trading, because it's against human nature. Turn this off and just trade. I told you many times, when I finally took off as a trader, I had my damn P&L down here. I had Trading Technologies at the time is what I used. Still around. I could see and this is when I was a decent sized scalper too. I mean, I wasn't huge yet, but I can see my P&L upticking, downticking $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 at a time. You're looking at that, you're like, whoa, wait, that's a lot of money. Wow, that's a trip to Maui. Wow, that's my car. Wow, what? The minute I turn this off, and I liken it again for you Star Wars nerds that are old enough. Their Star Wars is still around, but the original Star Wars, when Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star, what did Obi-Wan tell him? Use the Force, Luke. And what did he do? He turned off his targeting computer, and he used his feeling to blow up the Death Star. There's the Death Star that blew up. He turned this off. Turn off the targeting computer. Get your damn P&L off of your screen. You have stuff in place that should stop you out for the day.
Iceberg by RT. 163 contracts.
Maybe short all three markets. Anyway, stop looking at that. That's why you're struggling too. When I turned that off, that's when I started making millions of dollars, and I'm not exaggerating. All right, so let me trail my stop in crude here now to 78.12. Remember, I have two longs on. I had the barf trade and the lick trade. Why am I not seeing my...
Shortly expecting the 4-week bill auction. I'll lead with the bid to cover.
I thought I had the lick trade on. Let's see. I know that filled. Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah, that's 43, sorry. That was on the wrong Apex account. All right, so those are two, so now I trail my stop in both those markets. Hold on here, sorry. That's on a whole nother computer, so that's why it's taking me some time. All right, so I'm trailing my stop. So this is a brand new setup. I could trade multiple things here. I could trade the barf this way. I'm not going to trade the liquidity. That actually just pulled, by the way. So they probably moved it higher. I would. So now that's fine. I'm going to play for this liquidity. Screw it. So this lick trade I was going to get out if it struggled here. Now we're going for that. That's 100 ticks away. But this is a new setup. I could trade all these, potentially these setups here. Let's look where we're at. Let's see what setups are involved here. And then I got to hurry up and draw Russell so we can play high with a hell. And I'm going to be short all three markets. What could go wrong, especially in these markets, because they never bungee jump at all. All right, so this is interesting now, right? Now this is actually potentially a bearish setup, aggressive.
Be nice Iceberg sells ES 177 contracts.
This is Dada. This is this trade right here. Here's your explanation. You're welcome for this. Again, usually if you're not in my trade room, you don't get these explanations. If you do, you get explanations for all of them. The Dada playbook is looking for a Dumb and Dumber SI setup at extreme standard deviation of VWAP. What do you see right there? This is +2 VWAP. Standard deviation. Here's VWAP. Daily value area, aka +1 standard deviation. 1.5, 2. That's in place. That parameter is in place for this trade. Move this over here. With a cumulative volume delta divergence and an extended algo guy away from the blue line at the time. We haven't talked about algo guy, but I'm sure this is extended. Let's take a peek. That's extended. This is the exponential moving average ribbon. It's just it's not default in Thinkorswim, but you can get the parameters from my room. I have templates for this in Sierra chart as well. And you actually have an IZZY. Here's a zone. I'll show it on the bigger. There's a lot going here now for shorts, so I'm ready to peel out of these longs. So what am I doing here? So that's that, and now we have your stop run here. So does it mean I'm getting short right here? No, this has to get below here in ATR. What's that price? We already know that price because I trailed my longs to that price. So I will now, based on DADA, that's the trade I just showed you, I will short aggressively. As soon as it touches that
Bids
price,
covered
the same price I'm getting
253,
out of my longs.
253, high yield of 4.59%,
Then,
4.59%.
this is, I believe, in Izzy as well. Izzy is an
The US
inflection
sells
zone trade.
$76 billion
Here we are.
of 4-week bills and awards 72.8% of bids at high.
Important zone, just like we saw. This is why I got short the ES and NASDAQ aggressively too. My important zone that I drew based on a gap down, huge gap down. This was also the high volume node of this balance. Lots of stuff here, all these tails, lots of stuff, a lot of confluence. I take that trade aggressively. So now I can go short DADA and Izzy aggressively, and I would be out of my BARF and liquidity trade longs. Then I could potentially be short those trades as well if what? If I get the ATR retest. So this is all stuff that hasn't happened yet. But if this market moves ATR below here, I'm short Izzy and DADA aggressively. And then if it goes here, which it probably will, because it almost always does, retest failure, then I can go short BARF and not there's no lick, but definitely BARF. Is there any lick below here? Yeah, there's liquidity. I can go short liquidity as well, the lick trade. So now that's all in place. Let me put all those in. At least two of them right now because those are aggressive trades. So then I go over here. There's no slug, but there was Izzy. That's 39. And I can put on, this tells you the size too. Remember, I'm trading 10% on these Apex accounts. Do not be risking 10% on your trades. This is very aggressive. But I'm putting on 10 micros. And guys, it's 10 micros or one normal one. Don't be putting on one normal because then you're in or it's all in or all out, right? Get in, use micros. There's nothing wrong with micros. And then you can piece out. You're not all in or all out, right? Let me do this real quick. It's already past 9:30, by the way, too. 39 and 41 are my two aggressive trades. 39 is 79.12 I'm shorting, and 41 79.12 I'm shorting. 78.12, not 79.12. All right, those are locked and loaded. Now I just wait for that to happen quickly. Hey, look what Nasdaq's headed to. Wow, that is a shocking development, isn't it? I can't believe this big money is going to get their way. Wow. That's something. And it's also a spot gamma level, which might have something to do with it. Doesn't matter. It's a magnet. Talk about it all day,
Wheat Ice
every
Iceberg
day
sells
for 4
EW,
years.
152 contracts.
So we got wheat as well. Let's see what's going on here. Because I have a position on here, I want to make sure that's the wrong. This is a nice trade too. This is already 5 cents plus cents in my favor. Here you go. Now what do I do here? Now I could trail my stop. I'll come back to this because I have these markets move a lot slower. This is why you want to be watching other markets so you're not pigeonholing the crap trade in the ES like today. Here's your volume event. I draw my zone. You remember my stop was up here. Now I can move it down to here and ATR above this new volume event as it develops. So I'll come back to that. I just want to draw RTY zone here because it's our destiny to play highway to hell on this webinar, I think. Here you go. 173, that's threshold. Threshold for Russell is 150. So anything above 150. Oh, by the way, this is like music to my ears when it's going against me, or going for me, by the way. Not so much when it's going against me. So they're getting smoked. And then I'm going to go over quickly where I'm going to get out of some of my position. That's more subjective unless an opposing volume setup comes in. But it's not subjective because I do the same thing every time, and I'm going to show you those like I always do. All right, so this is the zone for Russell. We call it Russell because I one time typed in the name wrong, and the computer was reading it off as Russell. I like that name better. 188.7 down to 188.78. So we come on our handy dandy spreadsheet. Did I mention this thing's a godsend? Go. Get this off for now. Russell. 88.7.
Wheat Ice Iceberg sells EW, 167 contracts.
All right, more wheat ice is coming in, by the way. This ATR is currently 30, right? Adapt to the volatility. Stop using static stops and entries and whatever the hell you guys are doing to lose money. 3.09. Guys, if you're learning anything from these webinars, it's just like the basic, you know, even if you're not, you don't want to use Bookmap, which I don't know why in anyone's right mind they wouldn't want to use that, but learn about using the ATR and not trailing your stops just to break even and stupid crap like that. That's going to help you tremendously in its own right. All right, so what price will this be a bearish setup? Right there, 1884.7. It's not there yet. It's still hovering in the zone, I think. So if this touches 1884.7, actually did it get an ATR above there, first and foremost, to disqualify this as a short. What was that price? 1891.8. That did not get a full ATR above there, so this short, this as a bearish setup, is still in play. I'm not going to have time to wait for this, though, because I got the other guy starting here, or it's already started. So you guys are out of luck for Highway to Hell today. But you can just imagine it as if I get short that. Hey, look at this. I can't believe we're going in that liquidity. So this is another thing, too. If you are playing for liquidity, so say you got short up here and you're playing for this, if this market gets close to this and starts to do what it's doing, it's because these algos are picking up the size and they are designed, there's certain algos that are designed to run away from liquidity because they want this order to chase. This order chases, then they turn around and go this way, right? So point is, if you're waiting for this, if it gets pretty close and you start to see it do this, just get out. It's going to come down and fill this eventually, but unless you like to be tortured for the next 25 minutes potentially or more, just get out, right? Or get out of some. I should have got out of some of my lick trade right there, but it is what it is. I can't do all this on one screen, so. Yes, so guys, do you see what's occurring here, right? Do you see how this market could not get above this volume event? This is why, not that they always just hold, but a high percentage of the time they do. That's why it's the edge. The point is, I made it prove did I trail my stop to break even? Did I trail my stop to the middle of the zone, to just outside the zone? No, I put it a full ATR plus 15%. I make this market prove that it can push through the volume event and push outside an ATR. Then I'm wrong. Until then, I'm still in the trade. So quickly, some places I will get out before I hop off here. Again, this is all, you guys get all this as part of my trading room, right? You get this document, everything's outlined. Like, it cannot be more black and white for the stuff I'm doing, right? I make it very simple. The more simple you make your trading, the better you're going to do. Number 5. I pay myself as the market makes money available to me. Ludwig levels. Market profile, composite, highs, lows, POCs. I'll show all this stuff in a second. VWAP standard deviation.
Crude stopped by CL. 157 contracts.
So I never got filled on those crude shorts, and there's a new volume setup. I'm going to draw a new zone of that. I'm not going to be able to do it on this webinar, but you guys just saw what I did on the last one. Struggle to get through having this is like right now in NASDAQ, if it can't get through that. Important predefined zone. Those are the IZZY zones I've showed you. On candle structure, same day prior SI events, so those are prior volume events that happen the same day. Opposing SI setup, I'm out of everything on that one, and the lugs. So just quickly, crude's still ripping, by the way, and I'm still long, so that's good, as you can see. But here's another, this is another dead ass setup. I was almost short off of this new one. I just got to draw a new zone. So as this market is making money available to me, what do you see? I won't get out of VWAP by itself. I know many traders trade off VWAP, and it could easily bounce off of this, but I need to see it confluent with something else. Is it confluent with something else? Not really. I mean, it would be inside this, which is also telling me something. When markets accept in market profile composites, you expect the other side. So this is this one here. You got back to back here, actually. So you can see this is trying to press in here now. If it gets in here, I'm expecting the other side. That's what you should expect. If it doesn't, that's telling you something too. If this starts to go and then launches out of here, then you expect a bigger move to the upside. But right now, all systems go for the move to 0, which I'm very happy about. So you got that one and you got this one. So keep an eye on these levels if this market starts to melt down. Other than that, where I'll get out of some of these. So how many do I have on NES? Let me see. I forgot what I even put on there. I've got I got 28 on, actually 28 micros, because remember I traded bigger because of my bearish thesis. So if this gets down, I could get out of some here, but it's just not. There's really nothing. I'm not really. Actually, I'm not even in that. I got in at 42.75, so I'm not getting out here. So I'd be looking down towards yellow lug, where I'll get out of probably half, and then I'm trying for down to here. Otherwise, if I see an opposing volume setup, then I'm going to get out of all of them the same way I got into them, right? So hopefully you guys are learning that. Quickly glance at the questions here. Checks in the mail. Thank you. I appreciate that. You can just PayPal me your cash too. Again, why sit here and be tortured and throw your money away to the algos? Just send it all to me right now, and I can share it with my trade room and we can trade with it versus you just losing it gradually, death by 1,000 cuts or whatever they call it. Because you're going to do that if you keep doing the same nonsense, trailing your stops and blah 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 to break even. I have a question about correlation between CL futures and ES futures. Are these opposite markets? Some days they're correlated, some days they're not. I don't trade that way. I trade off volume events. That is the thing that I look at. It is the driver of all these markets, in my personal humble opinion that I've been watching for 25 years. I feel like I'm in a UFO with all these alert sounds. Oh, this is nothing. Do you talk in room? Oh yeah, I do, Alexander. I do this twice a day that you're seeing. I do it in at the open and at the close, and then I'll pop in during the day. A lot of days I'm not here for 9 hours straight. I'm not a young chicken. I used to sit there for 9 hours straight every day. I barely get up to go to the bathroom. But I'm in throughout the day. I'll post charts and say, hey, watch for this stop, watch for this setup. So yeah, and then I talk like this twice a day. Yes. Thank you, Ryan. Actually answered that. Look at the post above here. I call them Q dump based on what Scott teaches along with Bookmap. Awesome. You become a much better trader. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that. You will not find a more informative teacher. Now you're on the A+. If you come in my room, you'll be teacher's pet. Ryan, could you post a Discord link? Guys, just go to my website. Everything's on here, right? Go here. We didn't get into Apex today. I'll talk about it next week. I talk about it every week. It's self-explanatory. I highly recommend it if you're working on trade strategies. Even if you're not, you do have a little money in the game, and if you get funded, now you're backed by somebody else. You're not risking your own money, and it's a whole different trading world where you're not risking your own money. So go here, Scott's Live Trade Room, and then here's your options, right? Monthly, quarterly, yearly, and then you get discounts off of my courses and mentoring too if you want to do that. So there's actually a guy in there, quickly, just to give you guys some hope that the stuff actually works. Let's see here. I lost that screen. Let's see if I can find this. Madam Shizzle, I don't see your zero comment, by the way, the zero post. See, I think I put this in yesterday. This was yesterday. So this is how I do it too. I come in and I'll put a link to the go-to webinar. You hop on there and you watch webinar. That was yesterday. I think I posted this guy. You guys will be happy with this. If not, I'll post it one more time. There it is, the zero. That was yesterday. Hasn't gone to zero yet, obviously. I know I'm going to that other guy's time. You can go over there too. It doesn't really matter if I'm talking. You can hop over to his room. It's definitely worth a good finale here. Here, I'll just screenshot it again and I'll show you. So this is a guy I'm mentoring too, but I mean, everything I'm mentoring him on, I talk about in the room all day. It's a lot faster, right, until you learn what's going on. And if you don't have the course, you can still learn my stuff, but if you get the course, you just learn a lot quicker. You're not learning real time. Because I don't have time to go through, every nook and cranny of everything because it's live trading. Hold on, let me, where's he at? Here he is. And I posted he said I could post his name yesterday, so. All right, so this is what he said. And this guy's name is at Lance. If you come in the room, you can ask him questions. He gave me his permission. I don't know if that was a smart move. This is what he wrote. I don't know. And he's trading, not trading big. He's trading I think 2 lots, or maybe 2 lots, 3 lots. I don't know. Regular, not micros. But my profit for last week was 23,000, mostly 180. That's the reversion trade we talked about. Slug. So he's trading that particular the playbook strategy that I've been showing you this whole webinar, all the 6 of them. And barf trades, we've taken a couple barfs today. I have a couple questions before them. Thanks, Lance. Trading percentage was 73% winners. That's pretty good. I'm not saying it's going to be 73% your entire time, but guys, this is the edge. I don't know how else to show it to you. This is it. Once you understand how the markets react to these volume events, that's the edge. All right, I'm out of gas. I'm into that other guy's time. I do this every day in my trade room. Come on by. You will learn. So I will see you guys next Thursday. Thank you.